welcome to Social Ketchup Roundtable 2023. Thank you everyone to be here. I know someone has flight, someone took a flight and came this morning, but I'm truly grateful for all of you to be here. So the panel looks like that it's all male figures, but I know for a fact that there are female leaders also running these agencies and talent houses who has sent someone has sent someone, and someone couldn't be here, but whatever it is, I'm so happy that this panel is happening and the conversations are happening. So it's time to catch up. But I will start with a high and a happy note. What is that one big win or one big milestone that your team or your agency had this year and you're very proud of you? So we'll start with Vinay on this.
I think this was a really interesting year. At an overall level, I think we got acquired. So
Congratulations.
just from a standpoint of with what to do next, I think everyone's thinking about should we make content. It's something that we started a reverse journey. We started by making content, so that was always on the table. Distribution was important to us, and we found a partner that does all of those things much better. They have a much higher EBITDA. They're public. There's so much we can learn from them. So we're really excited about how the entire Saregama Pocket Aces partnership is going to pan out. So.
Great.
I think there's no one big win. I think it's a series of small wins. Every small award that you get for a podcast or every award a creator gets, I think there's a series of things. But I think more importantly is to see a lot of smaller creators in terms of numbers who we've been a part of, whose journey we've been a part of over the last 4-5 odd years, making into OTT platforms. I think that gave me a lot of joy of them actually finally breaking through that threshold of beyond content creation.
For Finance, this is the third year. I think this is the first year we got a couple of awards for campaigns that we did. One of our creators raised funds and is starting his entrepreneurship journey. Two of our creators got Forbes 30 under 30. And on a personal note, I also got like a couple of 30 under 30. So I think that was like a highlight.
Shubham, what about you?
Yes, so at DOT, we are building multiple teams as I always talk about. So all of my teams become self-sufficient. We have a content team, we have a beauty team, we have a finance team. We are managing various categories and everybody became self-sufficient. Previous to this, last year, everybody needed support of different teams to function, but now everybody is making money. So that was a big win for me.
Gautam, what about you?
I think for us, we've been working in the influencer space for quite long, but I think when the entire team got together, that is the content team, the operations, the sales, for a event called Creators United, where it was a mad journey for 3 months, where we were just wanting to make this event a reality, and today it is a reality. So I think that is a very big milestone for us.
Rohit, what about you?
I mean, it's been a good year for BBQ Wines. I mean, we've done a few things that we would have never thought of. We released Taza Khabar in the first week of this year. Then we released another show almost about 2-3 weeks later. And then very recently we did Takeshi's Castle, and in a week we're going on floor with our season 2. So this year has been eventful, and I just hope that every year just multiplies just the way this one has.
Nice.
For us, mainly guys buying houses. Like we've been in India journey for the longest time. Yeah. We started with zero, literally with few of my creators, and then buying and being matured enough to making right decisions, and achieving their goals, their milestones, be it financially or project-wise, that what they really want to do. I think we've achieved that a lot this year. So that has been, for us, one of the major things.
Devesh, what about you?
See, there have been a bunch, despite the difficult year that this has been. For me, I think it has been 2 things. One, couple of our artists got Filmfare recognitions. That's beautiful. Of course, it's their talent. It's amazing. And the second is our office expanded and people came back to office, right? And that's amazing to always have people together and, actually tapping into the ecosystem that OML is being able to provide. I think that's magic. And in a difficult year like this, to have people together who are kind of going through the same, it's great. So touch wood, yeah.
Great. And I just want to ask one thing. You've represented talent everywhere across the globe. I want to ask, what is the definition of a talent manager? Somehow, how do you guys define? Anybody, if you could, even if you can define that this is the KRA, this is the meaning of a talent manager.
I think it starts with execution, evolves to therapist, and then evolves to a partner or a founder of sorts.
Though, understand when it comes to a talent manager, he or she should be able to do anything and everything for a talent. Though any person cannot do all the things, so the required help that is required to the talent manager should also be there at the agency, so that the talent doesn't feel ki, oh, this particular thing cannot be done by my talent manager. So that is one thing in particular, but they need to have very strong ears, because talents will call and they will have a story to tell. So you need to take a lot of stuff out of the story when they tell that particular story.
Anyone else has a different definition to it?
It's more or less similar, right? So at least me or in our in Hype, we don't hire the resume, we hire the person. I think intent is more required. I think where the JD of talent manager ends is when the actual job starts, to be honest, fairly. They are doing things which are much beyond your defined characterization of manage the work, be operationally efficient, get deals. That's not the point of it. They do work beyond. So I think intent of a person is more important to understand if they want to grow, they want to learn, and they are innovative enough to be in this industry. So hire the person, not the resume, is what we go through usually. That's why we have a smaller, tighter team of people who are equally enthusiastic collectively.
I mean, it's just Bhuvan and I.
But you've been that support system to Bhuvan.
Yeah, he's my wife and I'm his wife. So, I mean, what we just heard in the previous question and the answer that we heard here was, all of us were winning when our artists or the talent that we represent or have partnered with have won, right? Like, it's a beautiful story for a talent to make a house, but that dream was also lived by him, right? Which is why he could actually live it. So for a talent manager, loyalty is one thing that I feel is the most important thing. When you start to feel, the day you start to feel that you will win when he wins, is the most important mantra, because some people tend to get selfish, some people tend to become content creators themselves, and some people feel that if he can get it that easy and he's taking the major chunk away, and I'm bringing the deals on the table, I think all of that should be left way behind, and one should have loyalty and the fact that the face, the artist, the talent is winning and eventually you will win, that feeling, I feel that's most important.
Yeah. And when it's a large roster, I mean, some of us have slightly large rosters. I think there's no one size fits all. Like some people want someone to set a vision, some people want someone to execute a vision, some people want a parent.
Yeah.
It's true. There are so many creators who are like, here is my bank account, don't let me spend it. I was like, how is that part of this job? But yeah, it is. So it varies depending on what they need, and it also varies in different ways. Like some of them will guide you when you're stuck. So those roles kind of change. But intent, like Ayush said, is the most important thing. If your intent is good, then you figure it out mostly. They are people finally. They're not. Yeah. Sadly, it's not just an account in that sense.
So I also want to ask, I have almost most of the talent agencies or someone who represent talent in any sense, and I want to understand what's that one pain point that binds all of you, or is like that is like pros.
A deadline to expectations. I feel it's very difficult to, rightly so, but sometimes it's difficult to satisfy our creators because of internet comparison and all that. So, creators will usually see the other creators and they'll feel that their agency or their talent management team hasn't given them what the other teams are giving them without having the whole context of what is happening for them and all that. So I think that sometimes gets mentally taxing on the talent team, that they have to constantly speak to the talent, make them understand why they didn't get this, what is the brand requirement or all that. So I think that can be one problem which I've seen across talent managers.
Anyone else?
I will come from a slightly different side because I lead the branded content business at OML. For us, and of course, by the default of being branded content creators cannot be ignored at all, right? I think for people working on the brand side or working with brands, the pain point sometimes, it's not a pain point, but the difficult part would be that, hey, you have imagined something really kick-ass, right? Sorry for the language. But you've imagined something really amazing. And just that time, that creator with whom you've almost like tailor-fitted that content piece to, right, is not available for whatever reason. So somewhere it's like, hey, is that magic dying? And then you have to retrofit some other creator, and it's
not the same.
There's a lot
It's
from
not the
brand.
same then.
So, but you guys are relating to it. The same pain is coming on, right?
Yeah.
I think I've spoken to at least 5 of the people here about this in a huge way. There's 2 things that stand out. One is bore ho gaya ho. I think everyone at some point in time turns around and says, yaar. And that's usually when things are amazing. Because it's
at the peak.
It's streamlined, problems aren't turning up, everyone's like, oh,
And then
bore ho
it's the
gaya.
opposite end on
And the other is like, yaar, what next? These are 2 things where I feel, all of us kind of relate to. We at different times we kind of lean on each other to get us through that.
But I think, as talent managers, we are in the business of building relevance to our creators. We build relevance again and again, month by month. So at the peak, when our talent is that's where we have to reinvent for them to do a new thing. Otherwise, if we don't, like they're already in the peak, what will they do? What will a next 10 million reel or a 30 million reel do to them? It's not making a difference in their life. So at that point in time, an actual change really matters to them, and that is for talent management agencies to provide that particular change to happen. That transition, which people can take from one part of content to the other part of content, is really important. Like as for any creative person.
I just feel they're not saying it, but the real pain is to get that 90-day payment window from your FMCG.
I was waiting. You're being so good. Oops, yaar.
सब लोग बड़ी अच्छी हैं
अब सीख गए
45 days में 45
But
days
I think that is something that we.
आदत हो गई.
It's
all lived
आदत
and
है.
started
वो-
with it, yes.
वो- But I think something that people don't know is something what Vinay said.
that was last year.
Yeah, what
Last
Vinay
year
said.
answer.
I don't know.
But I
is
lived with that
I'm
pressure.
bored. That's the biggest problem. I'm bored.
It is.
And what do you want to do next is something. And when things are happening, sometimes making them think, be patient. Things are happening. Things are going good.
Yeah.
Don't need to reinvent everything right now. So that is something that which goes on.
I think it's general short-sightedness, right? If month is down, they're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
If the month is up, what are we doing next? I'm like, guys, there's a proper plan and a strategy in place. Follow that. So I think short-sightedness makes them very volatile, and that volatility does not translate well when you're planning a long-term strategy.
Okay, but I also want to understand going ahead that a creator at least knows what's right or wrong for the creator is. But how do you keep saying, like, especially if they have onboarded or they are with you on with so many years, how do you keep that motivation meter going high every time? Or what is your process in general for that?
There's an operational side and a strategic side, right? The operational side is get them business, they'll keep on being motivated. I suppose the simple thing.
Get them money.
Get them money, I suppose. And I'll tell you what, the people of influence has always been there, right? So there were RJs, there were TV actors, anchors, etc. It's just that the focus is now on creators. Those are the people of influence, right? And it's just people in media. The journey will keep on going, right? Creators and content solutions will evolve. And as much as it is, our creators are evolving with it, right? YouTubers to being creators to being brand ambassadors, they're evolving with that journey. So that is the operational side of it. I think the strategic side of it is how to answer the what next, where to invest money, how to help them with buying a house. These are very subjective, intangible, back-end solutions that you give as a person to a friend. That keeps them. That actually helps a lot.
But
to be
I think
honest.
motivation is something that is required for every creator. It's a very long-term game. That is what has been explained. They need to understand. I think that all what we are catering to, make them understand it's a long-term game. It's going to go on. We need to be everyday relevant. So those things will be most tough thing that I think we are dealing with.
And making them understand that it's not a 1 month or a 3 month journey. Like we see our books quarter to quarter. We have to train our talents to see their profiles to quarter. Like every magic cannot happen in a month.
How have you done that? I need to know. I've been.
So we have a process to like make them understand what exactly is going to happen, and then probably like people come from small towns, people have done amazing content from small towns, and when they start making content, they probably are not aware how to save that particular money. Everybody knows how to spend.
Correct.
So we particularly make sure that whatever they're making, they're saving like at least 50% of it. Like because your earnings are increasing by like 400% this month, but you don't have to spend it all. That explanation, if a talent manager or an agency can give at the initial start of the career, that is going to help the ecosystem at large, because like nonetheless very controversial, but some of the creators will not have a lifespan of more than 5 years, and when that's the case, you need to save the maximum amount of money you make right now. Your money has to make money, and that has been the goal we try to instill in all our creators, that let us do something for you and let the money make money. So that's the goal.
And add into it, I think majority of the creators fall into the age bracket of under 30. So they have not, most of them have not even gone to say post-graduation or even graduation that far, right? So what they see is that, okay, I make money today and I'm gonna just spend it. I'm not saying buying real estate is bad or right, but I'm just saying that to keep them motivated, it is very important for them to show the long-term goal, where we say that you focus on content, let us focus on the business. And that angle kind of dies in 90% of the creators.
Yeah.
And then the remaining 10 probably are the 10 people that we always talk about in every scenarios.
I also think that, creators today, majority of them are very young. And I think, as in answering a question about how do you keep them motivated, for all of them, I'm sure they'll say that it's not one size fits all, right? And everyone has their own trouble. Some creators are getting heavily trolled, and how do you help them to keep their head on their shoulders? Sometimes, as someone said, like you have to be their therapist. You have to just be there as a friend. You have to be there as a person just holding their hands, and it's not easy for them. And yeah, sometimes with young creators, I'm assuming there is a lot of money that's getting involved, and that can spiral sometimes badly. How do you really just help them stay grounded is also very important. So I think there are different solutions for different kind of creators. Like a big creators like Bhuvan or maybe a Zakir, what they require is very different from someone else, maybe, right? So yeah, I don't think there's one answer to it.
Creative motivation, honestly, like no amount of money brings that. To be completely frank, like I think money is a huge demotivator. When it isn't there, it's not really a motivator when it's there.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, you have to de-link that in their heads as well. Recently some young creators came and told me, oh, you know what, this month I didn't make as much as last month. I don't feel motivated to make better content. I was like, then this is the wrong profession for you, because you're going to have to make good content regardless of what you get paid, and because of that you will get paid. So I think that the ones who are successful know this. They realize that hey, it comes in phases. So when you're in a good mental space, when you're in a good creative space, they make a lot of videos, they create a bank, they use it for when they can't come up with things. So all of these things are important. But often money hasn't been a good enough motivation though. Like I don't know if
it is not, because if they have all the money, then why do they need to work? So I mean, if their appetite is full for that month,
I don't necessarily agree to that. Sorry.
Okay, all right.
I don't necessarily. I think money is a great motivator for a lot of
where they are in the
creators.
journey, right? Like a lot of them de-link money, as you said, right? Some of them are like money. They know in their head that they'll have this kind of constant flow of money this month, and their motivation is completely different.
But that also comes, Ayush, after you've worked for so many years.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's true. But some of them are actually quite self-actualized at a smaller amount, right? Someone as in a 3, 4, 5 lakh rupee monthly income as a creator is nowhere compared to what a creator can make, right? It's not as in it might seem in an absolute term it's quite big, but it's not relative for a creator. But some people are very happy and self-actualized that this is the amount of money I want to make. I want to make good content, and you have people at 10x and being grumpy about more. So you have a whole plethora.
That's where the comparison kicks in, because you see the other creator making more money, and yet then you spiral beyond content and just think about the brand deals. So
I talked about you guys as talent managers and how do you deal them. You talked about how do you But how do you guys keep yourself motivated that okay, this is going, and this is majorly more from a like a entrepreneur to entrepreneur or the team leader to team leader kind of question, that how do you keep yourself motivated? Okay, it's okay. I have to explain. So a month can be low for someone and a high. To explain that to the creator, you need that clarity in your mind as well. So how do you do that?
I think I text Rohit and Vinay for this.
I was going to say the same thing. Sometimes we.
It's an evolving industry. It's an ever-changing industry, right? It's good enough for me personally to be a part of something that is being shaped, right? Just to have the foot in the door of saying, oh, we were a part of this industry when it was forming.
Yeah.
I think that's good enough motivation to start with.
I don't think motivation is a problem in this room.
Yeah.
It's more so like how can we reduce the amount of time we spend on firefighting. I think the biggest problem is we are on other people's schedule of problem solving. So we have way more, like I think that we have enough problems to solve no matter how much time you give. But that's motivating to try and clear out those and do something that you're excited about.
Most successful days are when they're like 8 fires put off, I'm like, I can go to sleep in peace. I think those are great days.
Totally.
Okay, and talking about business, how can a talent agency or anyone can unlock more avenues for a creator other than just a brand deal? Like I know, like Rohit, from your experience, from Bhuvan was a content creator and he's become an actor and he's become producing shows. So this is one avenue that you guys have explored very early. So what else do you think is a...
I mean, Bhuvan and his friends did merchandising in 2017-18. That's when they started, and I feel, and I know that's one of your questions. So merchandising is one part of the job, but then today with the kind of distribution that each of these creators have and the kind of brains that they're all supported by, I feel having their own products, an app like what Sharan has, or maybe like a course that I've been seeing on the internet that people really, the guys who are into infotainment, they're out there with their courses. Bhuvan, of course, first he became a singer, he produced a few music videos, then he wanted to become an actor, so we found these stories to tell which he could be a part of. Then you would have seen his dubbing videos, so we thought why not take that to a next level, which is why we did Takeshi's Castle. Somebody very recently lured me in creating content for brands just like how Tanmay Bhai and the gang does, which is apparently getting a lot of money and all that. So I'm thinking about that. But yes, I mean, I believe content creation and running your own pages on different social media handles is sort of like a risky setup. You have that distribution today, which is super active, and that same number and the same distribution can go passive in 6 months down. I mean, in 6 months, however. Maybe the kind of format that you follow and you're popular for today might not work a year later. So we should do it as a hustle that I mean, I believe all content creators did it because they were creative folks and they wanted to put themselves out there. The ones who were not doing this for money, the ones who were not doing this primarily for money or brand deals, but just wanted to be out there and show their talent, are the ones who've really done well in this field. Today they're also making money off it, but if they want to sustain what they do, and somebody very notable told me कि जो आप सर्विस करके पैसे कमा रहे हो उसमें कोई बिग डील नहीं है, right? Like for example, if you're making a video for somebody, you have to write it, get it approved, then shoot it, edit it, put it out, and you spend the money, right? That you're not making that money while you're sleeping. So once you start to make money while you're sleeping is when you are really successful. So these creators, with the kind of distribution they have, they should indulge in things which are more tangible, which can eventually become, if I'm using the right word, but independent of the creator, and then basically create like some sort of bigger business for the creator in the long run.
Yes. Adding on to this, I mean, what he also said, that the life of a creator may not go beyond 3, 4, 5 years if they start thinking on the sides that they are not social media influencers anymore, but they are creators. Plus, they have a very good distribution community where distribution of content can happen very wisely and very nicely, right? So, for example, the objective should be, it's right now what you said is the revenues from brands to
Deal.
the
Brand
creators, or even I'll take YouTube as a brand for now. That is YouTube giving monthly revenue, but that goes up and down, up, down, up, down. But if a creator can start thinking that if they have 100,000 followers, if they can start monetizing 10% of it, that is 10,000 followers, and it can get $100 out of them each month, that becomes a steady income. Like that is the game, and it could be podcast, it could be courses, it could be merchandising, it could be anything. But the end goal, it could be that person going offline and giving some course. Doesn't matter. But what matters is getting that 10,000 people to spend $100 on him or her. And if that happens, I think that brings a lot of stability to a lot of people.
And a lot of peace of mind, because to create content you need a lot of peace of mind, so that you can think out of the box, create something which is totally free of any pressure. I feel that independence brings a lot of liberty and peace to a creator's mind.
Also in the global space, we call it KOL, Key Opinion Leader. So why they call it KOL is only because they are in that particular space, that be it fashion, comedy, whatever, their opinion matters, and they're a leader in that space. So if they can go beyond an influencer and start actually becoming a KOL, which I think majority of the US Chinese influencers have actually mastered, and the amount of money that they are making, 1 million followers makes more than 10 crores a month.
I think that's your answer for what's next. I think everyone out here, every agency is trying to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is something new.
But
But
I certainly disagree here, because see, there are so many influencers here, and the overall TAM, the total addressable market where people actually spend in India is considerably low compared to US and China. Okay, so you can build a brand, you can build a merchandise brand, you can build 10 brands with 10 creators, but the problem is there will be initial spike because of the following, then the brand is going to fall flat. So any brand that any agency or a creator is going to build has to be product led and not creator led. Okay, I mean, we are building one of the brands at Dot, and in that particular brand, not one person is an ambassador, or none. It is not associated to one person in particular, but it is associated with 20 people in particular. So if right now one of my talent is like doing great numbers, for that one, that person will be the ambassador. The second one, other person will be the ambassador. Because understand, in India, internet penetration is there, but still the online transactions happen at a very low space. We are a retail first market, and here we're talking about being digital first. So we are still, like, I would say, like 6-7 years away from that particular dream of like building creator first brands. That's not particularly going to happen very soon. It's changes with top creators. It changes with somebody like Bhuvan, but with people with 100K following, 10,000 people are not going to buy. I mean,
No, I never meant that you need to.
It was just an
I know,
Also the
understand.
people,
easy
it's
challenge.
also the people around them, because even if I start a brand with Bhuvan, the first brief to my partners or associates would be that this brand should flourish without Bhuvan. Right. So that's our learning in the last 5 years, and a lot of these creators have done this with their merch, etc. And from that learning is where we have come today, where we say that it shouldn't be a creator-led brand. We need to use his distribution and his fan following to get them to at least sample it. Right. Today, just sampling is a big deal. Right. And if you can use their, and I have actually partnered with so many of these D2C brands and taken them to shelves because Bhuvan endorsed them, right? So I've had that experience of creating that recall at a store, which is why that product was seen at the shelf maybe 6 months down the line. But it depends on the kind of team. I mean, of course, the creator can't do everything. The team needs to put it together.
Someone like an Alicia Souza or a Parul who've grown their businesses as independent businesses and use their, following too. But I also think that more importantly, every creator has a Bollywood dream.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to ask you, how do you approach such collaborations for creators as well, which are bigger media vehicles than their own channels?
I think it's happening the other way around now.
Yeah,
I think
the production houses, their brief is like, first it was casting based on their looks and their character and their skill. Now it is that plus the number of followers.
It is
So it is
as ad hoc as possible, right? Literally, someone calls up one creator for casting ki you want to come, and they'll say, oh, you have another one, you get them along as well. Like, this is as ad hoc. There's no process.
Earlier
there
it
is
used to be like even today there are like people. I don't remember any of the casting that we have done for our creators where they have to go and do auditions and everything. It's like, you're done, okay, day after tomorrow it's a shoot because we believe in you. That's it. So because they are more confident on their followers, and then the production house is very selfish, that
For
their
those
marketing spends
numbers.
will decrease. So they're like, okay, we'll just accommodate however we can.
But my whole thing, I think, coming back to the whole distribution point, if you're going into another medium, you better bring value.
Yeah.
I think that if not, and you can also build your own path. Like, so for example, what Bhuvan did and what Rohit did, in the sense where Bhuvan could have gotten a part in some large production. I'm sure you've gotten. I'm not going to take names, but finally, like, they were like, no, we're storytellers. We have distribution. We have marketing. A producer wants me because I bring so many eyeballs. So why can't I just be that producer and build that out? Yeah. Which is a very, very like correct way of utilizing what distribution you've built over the years and now making it mainstream. So
yeah, and I second what he just said. The problem is that most of these producers and studios and platform services, they want to approach these creators only for the marketing side of things and the distribution. If they cast them like legit for the character, if they feel that this person really fits the character, they follow the process of auditioning and doing their screen tests, etc. I think that's more legit way of doing something like that.
And a long-term way.
100%.
Yeah.
And then
you just use as a marketing tool.
Yeah, and I feel the minute this, I'm in this project just for the sake of marketing. I'm sure the creator would also not be
better
as
market the life out of it.
Yeah.
Also, the creator should have that particular talent to act. They should be. Acting is a craft. They have to be trained first, because because they have the distribution, you cannot expect them to act. So, toning down the expectations every now and then. Okay, you first have to learn acting a bit. Then only you can expect to act in a movie or a web series. That's also very important.
But a lot of creators who are creating content like a comedy or an entertainment, they are acting in their content, right? So they
that
have
acting
that
and
That's a mistake.
Different.
Basically, like, that's a very different acting what is required on set.
I know, but at least it's not that they have to.
That requires
ABCD
discipline.
Also.
See, when a creator acts in front of like 10 cameras in a big crew, they act very differently.
I completely get, like, I've spoken
See, acting
to
for 30,
Sati.
40 seconds versus a movie for 2.5 hours is way too different.
See, what happens with these guys, they are in a habit of making money. Like, a 30-second reel will take an hour to shoot. They're like, I made 6 lakh rupees out of this, okay? When now you're getting like 30,000 rupees a day and they'll make you sit for 6 hours, then your shot will come. They'll call the manager and say, I'm irritated, they're not letting me do the shot. So how will you deal with that? First of all, you have to build that patience in a person, so that they should go and should be patient enough to sit for 6 hours, and then the shot will come. Otherwise, it's not a good journey.
Mainly with this whole conversation, I'm saying what we do as an agency, I think all of us, that's what I was trying to say, identifying for all of us, when people like us who have bigger rosters, everyone, sabka story alag hone wala hai. Everyone, we need to identify what are they going to be able to do, how they use their distribution. Everyone's answer is not going to be courses, everyone's answer is not going to be acting. It's going to be different, and identifying, helping them that out, and also understanding it's going to be a trial and error process also, because you never know. So it is, for us as agency, it's difficult but we have to be master of all kind of a thing to help them with that.
It's in fact like sometimes the reverse happens. When they do a reel, it does really well. Most people will be like, wow, you're amazing, you should be an actress, or you should be an actor. And the problem is that skill set doesn't translate well onto general content.
It's a very different
It seems like you had a problem with an
I
actress.
completely agree. Like, I've spoken to a couple of creators turned actors, and like, how is it? What's the difference? It's like when they are on set, they're way more nervous than when they are in front of their own camera or in front of their crew, because they are not following their own script. They are not following their own. So they know that when they're making a reel, they are the boss. But when they are on a set, they don't have that creativity, liberty, all kind of things.
I've got panic calls when I got a creator on a set to do a little special appearance, and I got calls saying ki kyun bula liya? Because a set is not just for the actors, but the 100 people who are behind the camera, like this one. There's so many of them standing right behind it, and they can't just do that same dialogue 20 times when they know they have to do 4 pages the same day. So it's a very different ball game.
What about you, Devashish? I know that a lot of OML talent has comedians also. So they have their own shows, they have their own stand-ups. How do you approach for that?
See, with OML talent, the kind of talent that we are representing currently and some that we are onboarding, as when I said that a lot of them have a Bollywood dream. Yes, there are a few who just have the raw talent to do acting as not in front of a reel or a shot. But a lot of times there has to be a reality check given to them.
Yeah.
And that's the toughest thing to do. Because they don't want to hear that. And I guess that's what actually most of us, our job is to have that really bitter conversation with them that, hey, maybe you're not up for it just yet. Maybe you need to spend more time in what you're doing, get your bearings right in what you're doing, what is working for you, whilst you work on that dream for you. And we are of course there to support you for that. So yeah, I think that's been more or less OML's approach, and sometimes it's worked, sometimes it's not worked. But well, we've been truthful.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask, and I think I had a conversation regarding this with you separately. How much a difference a PR plays, the role of PR in a content creator's journey, sir?
This is an answer that I've already prepared in my head.
You have a PR answer for
Because
Talent agencies are not PR agencies.
talent. So,
That is why I asked you this.
PR is such a wide gamut, right? It's a very loosely thrown term. Like you say, मेरे को PR चाहिए. It's a very loosely thrown term. PR for us could be, being a part of these panels or being a part of industry talks. PR for an actor is to be in a Bollywood party or it's such a wide gamut of things that people can't just loosely throw the word कि आप मेरा PR नहीं कराते हो. That's not the
Brand
way.
कहता है viral करा दो.
So like
There's a lot of pain in his voice.
yeah, because
That's why I said I've spoken
this
to
is
him
the answer I've
separately.
already said that PR, and whenever someone says PR, we say please list down the things that you have in your mind when you say PR, and we then collate a list. We'll see which ones are the maximum requirements across our talent board, and then we approach it systematically, right? And with creators, it's only going much bigger because they're also being a part of the celebrity PR journey, right? They are part of events, they are part of launches and brand events. Plus, they have to do their creator part of it, which is industry talks and being creators in their own right, awards, etc. So it's just a wider gamut. PR is an important aspect, but it has to be defined person to person, as we've all concluded. It's not one size fits all. Everyone has a different expectation of what PR means to them. I think first step is to define what it means to individual ones and then approach it.
If I were to add to that, so I come from PR background myself. I've done a lot of PR for not many years, almost a decade. I think if you go to a creator and ask, PR is not about 2 articles or 3 interviews, right?
Yeah.
PR is about what's your narrative. What's the narrative that you want to build? Like, to me, how you build Bhuvan's narrative or how Zakir's narrative has been built or is being built. It's the narrative. You go to a creator, ask them that, hey, what's the narrative you want to build? And it'll always be a short-term answer. And that's not how PR is built. Then to me, वही 2 interviews or 4 articles मिलेंगे. वही मिलेगा. I think it's a much bigger game to play when you say narrative. And narratives are not built only through press. It's built through a collective of everyone talking a certain way about this creator. Yeah. That's what really PR is, and not many people get it. It's a tough game.
And everyone wants to deviate. Everyone wants a singular A-list image, regardless of whether their content represents that or has that narrative.
Correct.
So that's kind of like where the worlds are merging. I don't even think they have FOMO anymore. They just have fear of not knowing. They're like, मुझे मालूम होता तो मेरे को problem नहीं है. Right?
Even 3 years
It's like, why
back,
don't I know that event happened?
3 years
Invitation
back,
is second rate.
That has become so much
Yeah.
such a bigger deal now that we have to be part of
And when,
these
you call,
events.
and when you call them, they don't come.
Yeah.
They don't show up.
It's like, now I know, I'm fine. You know, I'm comfortable.
I just
This is
wanted
one
to
of
be
those
invited.
pitching sessions.
Also, one point from the creator perspective, which I always tell my creators when they come up to the same thing, PR karwa do, is that I think a lot of creators don't work towards PR, as he said, narrative, and they just want the agencies to somehow give them PR so that they become bigger creators somehow.
Yeah.
You also have to work towards something and be, you have to be good enough for that PR as well. Ye mismatch, again, it's a reality check which I have to give to the creators or we have to give to the creators, which is a very difficult conversation.
2-3 साल पहले यही होता था जब PR कोई भी क्रिएटर बोलते थे यार मेरा PR करवा दो PR के बाद जाते थे कुछ करा दो 2-3 आर्टिकल है ना तो the PR like किया है
What's the story? What's the story?
It's like करा क्या है
Yeah, PR, that's the main thing.
if it has got 20 million views do we like even if we write about it nobody will read it
Yeah.
so what's that X factor and then now slowly they have understood we have to do some XYZ things to get into the papers and stuff.
I think really understanding the pain, I can see the expression change in the
So
face so many times.
why I asked you this question is because I am one of a PR plan में जब ad होता है तो I am one of them and then a lot of people just come to me and like I have a creator उनका PR करना है अब क्या करना है कैसे करना है ये नहीं पता होता है और क्यों करना है is also not what they know and I meet a lot of young creators also and it is like I'm not there like the parties that we discuss and I'm like there is a FOMO that a bunch of creators are getting now seeing other bunch of creators at a party or at a or majorly or events.
They don't know what they want.
Now we're getting into her pain.
She's like, how long should my guest list be?
So that's why I said that how much important role a PR plays in a
So
creator's
you started with
journey.
that question, it's important. Point is that we deviated from saying what our pain point is while dealing with it, but it is important.
It's important.
It's just that we've not been dealing with it correctly. Means the creators have not been understanding it correctly, but we're trying to do that. It's about comparison and all, being in these events, whether I was on the call, things like that. But I think now, at least for us, that we've been able to explain them, it's an overall strategy building. It's not only few articles or this thing, but actually few years back, it was about few articles and this thing, because it was only that. We didn't have these many events back in the day. 3 years back, there were no events, and COVID ka time tha mainly. But so what is really good for your PR, what will matter to you will differentiate between all creators, and to be able to create that being part of their strategy is going to be the main thing.
And it's also changing, frankly. See, initially many people used to read a lot. That's why portals were writing so many things. Now people are shifting to audio and video content. So one should know where to place your particular person. Like I've suggested a lot of people at my roster go and do this particular podcast with this particular person, because at least you'll be seen. You won't be written about, but you'll be seen. And PR at the end is just relevance, no? You build a relevance for that particular person. So the mediums will keep changing every now and then, and that's how you end up building relevance for that particular person that is on your roster with anybody on anybody's roster.
And the top creators really get it though. You have to credit them. Like for example, you'll see they'd be like, hey, let's go after these 3 brands. I'll do it for free. Like why? Because hey, I want to be seen as someone who's representing these brands. So there are instances of where people have used it in a very potentially smart way.
Because they understand positioning.
That's my question to you guys next is like, how do you decide that this one is a top creator or this one isn't a top creator? Because you guys have a
don't think we
kitty.
decide that.
I think
The market decides that.
we're not going to answer that.
Everyone are top creators.
There's nothing like
you
top
have a
creators.
kitty of creators.
What do you mean by top creators? We don't have anything like that.
More often than not, it's intuition, right? If there's a story to tell, for example, you know there's a story to tell, you can build PR around. Like, you know intuitively that there is something I can speak about and people would be inquisitive to know about. Those are the ones you should we pursue, right, per se, because that's going to be there. And for others, we tell them to create that narrative and we create that narrative with them. But more often than not, you know intuitively there are certain set of creators who are going above and beyond content, right? They're imbibing that kind of as they say,
Skin in the
manifesting their careers
way up to the top.
I may be wrong, but पहले PR ऐसे होती थी ना कि जो चीज़ नहीं पता है लोगों को वो tabloids and newspaper and these people used to put it out, which is why people were excited about reading these and getting information which they weren't aware of.
Correct.
Today, most of us are out there. The picture that should be a front page DT or BT picture is already out on Instagram at 9 p.m. Right? So when things are already out on your PAPs and all that pages, so what will the audiences get of it? You know, it's just replicating or resonating the same noise or the same event which has happened the night before. Which is why also PR is very difficult. What we faced was, while we started doing PR for Bhuvan, we realized that the traditional mediums weren't even, they didn't acknowledge the whole profession of content creation, right? They always thought it was either sports people or Bollywood or TV actors, and there was nothing else. So and for every new creator who these guys are representing, the creators need to know that for your representative and your PR representative to tell the media folks that this guy exists and this is what he does and this is what he wants to do in life and this is how you can talk about him will take another 6 months. So your PR journey always starts a quarter, 2 quarters later.
Plus, you have to do a lot of work in those 6 months.
In multiple peripheries, right? For you to be talked about, because they will not speak about the same thing for several times. They will only speak about it once. So you need to do things in your 360-degree, the periphery around you, so that people can talk about different media articles, media publications, different portals. Different people can talk about different aspects of your life or doings.
Okay.
So it's like Jan Hit Mein Jari for all the creators.
But yeah, I mean, that's how they do it, right? Which is why we go to the World Economic Forum. A content creator doesn't need to go to World Economic Forum. We go there, one, because we are a media outlet ourselves. That's how we went for the first time, right? And why we are there is because we represent a certain number of people. And why a PR publication or media publication in India should talk about it, because it's a big feat that an Indian guy or an Indian girl from Thane or New Delhi, Malvinagar went to World Economic Forum Davos, right? So, I mean, these are the few things which really make a difference, and it gives an ambition to people to, maybe pursue what these guys have done.
Okay. I want to ask, you guys, we all are part of creator economy, and I want to understand how big is this creator economy and what are the lesser known points about it?
I think the current market size is, if I'm not wrong, is anywhere between 1800 to 2000 crores. And what we are going ahead,
The influencer marketing.
the influencer marketing,
Yeah,
is the influencer marketing bit. And I think the creator economy as a whole will nothing be less than $1 billion in the next 4 to 5 years.
I think that's
It already is available.
I
And
think
we're
that's
just scratching the
monetarily.
surface. We're just scratching the surface as of now. It's going to grow.
Just look at the amount of content you and I consume, right? Every session is what, 20, 30 reels. Every time you open a phone and you open it at least 20 times a day. As an average user, I'm consuming 400, 500 pieces of content every day. So look at the consumption that's there on content, and everyone's a creator. So this, like, if you're not a creator, you're not a,
So they're everywhere. That's my simple question. How big it is? Like they're
everywhere.
in each and every field that you talk about.
I mean, the creator economy is funding all of Instagram's ads, regardless of whether creators get paid or not, right? I mean, that's the reason why they're coming. Nobody's coming to see the ads on Instagram. So,
And my point is also that eventually creator economy's definition is eventually going to change. As in today, what we know creator economy, as in it's a media house today.
Yeah.
As in Bhuvan does not require, as in he went to Davos as a media house. And so there's a media house part of it. There are more brand equity deals part of it.
Yep.
There's more content to commerce that is just about hitting India in the next and hitting hard in. So there is so much that's going to happen, and eventually this word is just going to disappear. It's going to be something else. It's just going to be media.
Yeah,
right?
it's a new media consumption, right?
Yeah,
What were platforms and publications about a few years back? Before that were news channels and YouTube channels.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a new media consumption. This is what it is. This is what we consume.
That's where the maximum attention is right now, and the attention on this platform is particularly going to grow because everybody is like is on the phone. Even when they're on a red light, there's nobody's seeing the hoardings that is put there. Everybody is glued to the phone only in particular.
I mean, YouTube just celebrated their 15th anniversary yesterday. we are in the Ben Hur era of like what movies were in 1950s. We are in that era right now.
Correct.
So I don't think we should look at the economy and the scale and all that because it doesn't make a difference. We are probably their creators are the pioneers and this is going to grow like how आपने habit change कर दी लोगों की यार मतलब this is in front of you the minute you are free, the second you are free. So just grab all the money that's coming your way and mostly all the dollars that you can put in your bank.
Sit back and relax.
Well, it's disrupted every other media. That's the weird part because every other media kind of ये है करके ये बना रहे. Like advertising wanted everyone in the same room. Let's put a TV. We want to broadcast a message. Let's do it on radio. And like now suddenly, like you don't really need advertising, per se on mobile.
The traditional,
so I guess everything
the
will get
money
disrupted.
spends are going down.
Yeah.
And everything is coming to our side.
I don't think we're far from like
only our creators
buy
need
this
traditional
product
media
and
for their
you get a movie
validation.
free. Those things will happen. I think it'll be like, go and buy this pair of shoes and we'll give you content for the whole year free.
Yeah.
That some level of non-advertising led, content deals even with consumers will happen.
Yeah.
But we're still probably like 10-15 years away from that.
With so many content creators joining the industry now, like every other day there's new content creator who's budding and they're doing good job. I mean there's so much that they also bring to the table, but do you think that because there's so many, the authenticity of these creators are losing? We're losing on that, okay, what their impact will be going forward. Right now we all, like they are the celebrities, they are the ones who are running this thing, but there's so many in general after a point. And
I have a very different thought on that. I think that India is a very large population-based country, which I don't think the current set of creators can make everybody happy. But the problem right now is not that, it is the discoverability of the creators. Because what happens in the sad truth that what we as agencies put on the Excel sheet is the final name. Brands may have one or two names, कि यार ये इनको भी plan में डाल दो. But majorly, it is the agencies that they put, okay, these are the 10 people that we want to put and that's it. They'll be बहुत महंगा है ना जितने का plan आता है yeah.
See, also
Alternative budget.
the number of
ये था major question. Campaign budget, Bhuvan's budget. इसे meme बनना चाहिए. Campaign budget.
Alternatively, also the number of brands getting into influencer marketing would also increase. Like traditional media brands which are getting into influencer marketing are also increasing. So they will do new creators. Like any creator cannot do more than 4 or 5 campaigns a month. So overall, the market size बढ़ जाएगा, number of brands बढ़ जाएंगे, तो ज़्यादा creators चाहिए, तो वो problem आएगी नहीं.
Like it's stemming from the same thought, right? Like we consume so much content, things are being built around this creator economy. Like there are people who are making podcasts and sessions and shows around creator economy. Literally getting news channels are getting creators to be part of special shows, right? So the PR mechanism is built around it. There's brands who are coming especially for this. So it's overall growing. The consumption is growing across all mediums. So and nowhere getting satiated with the amount of content it's being generated. You see the diversity of content, right? Till about last year, I thought like finance ho gaya, fashion ho gaya, comedy hai, food hai, travel hai. This is the end. Like now you have like truck drivers becoming best content creators. Ankit Puri doing the whole fitness becoming very big.
Couple creators, yeah. Like there's a new bunch of couple creators in the economy.
Couple creators. Yeah. So you're finding new genres that you didn't know that existed. Literally, I get half my news from Instagram, sadly. Like astrophysics news is on Instagram.
Every time I walk in an office, I keep, we should onboard this category. I was like, no, but yeah, we have to onboard this category.
More niche genres.
It's like I think authenticity wise, like पहले कैसा था television में there would be at the end of the day some person taking a call. Should this go live? Right. Even with YouTube now, YouTube was of course nobody was a gatekeeper, but it still required some resources. Like if you wanted to make a particular type of content, you need a cameraman, you need an editor, you need some level of skill of being able to. I think with Instagram and now with Reels, it's so easy to make content. Now we're going to see authentic different formats that you can't think of. Like, I mean, whatever you thought, was the end of content, I think that's where it'll start again.
And it is so real time. Right? Like, something happens now. Within the next 30 minutes, there are creators making content. Okay, this is hot topic. Let's make something on it.
The size of news cycle is reduced. It's gone to a few hours from a couple of weeks.
But that has also made everyone question also, no? That if it is authentic news or not.
Yeah, because now that
I think
Everyone,
everyone, it's just discover yourself, man. If it's authentic to you or not. How much you want to give importance to that news cycle? I think there's a lot happening and a lot is being covered immediately.
Much better than many news channels.
Authentic तो पहले भी नहीं था, तभी एक person का narrative था, अभी और लोगों का narrative
I think authenticity was never.
नहीं मैं तो
कौन से न्यूज़ चैनल की बात कर रहे हैं?
मैं 1940s Hitler की बात कर रहा हूँ.
Okay, so I was also like when I was asking how do you decide who is a top creator, I also wanted to ask that time that you guys have a lot of creators in your kitty, like most of you guys do that, and how do you decide कि हाँ मुझे इसकी तरफ weightage ज़्यादा देना है या उसकी तरफ weightage ज़्यादा देना है, या because just numbers cannot be thing, that just the kind of intent cannot be the thing. You might have a process in place or some checklist. How do you decide?
I think it is also the activeness of the creator. It is not just one-sided. कि मतलब हमने सोच लिया इसको करें, but सामने से अगर if it is not reciprocating what we are trying to say,
100%.
then it just dies.
And the creator also needs to understand it's always 80-20. Like we take 20% of the revenues, no? So the maximum work has to be also done by the creator. We are the catalyst. We can act as a catalyst. We can tell you what to do, but at the end you have to act. You have to do it out. And secondly, it's intuition. Like if I'm intuitive enough to understand that this particular creator will do well, so then I'm going to put all my forces behind him or her, and that's the way we go forward. Like in particular, we have onboarded creators at less than 6,000 followers, and today they are sitting at 5 million. So in a year, so we understand that and 60% of the times I've been wrong also, but you're searching for that 5 times you're right, and you can make a big creator out for a very small creator also.
So one thing is loyalty, as Rohit Bhai was telling initially, loyalty is very important. The creator also needs to trust the manager. Manager's job is to trust the creator, but when the creator trusts, it reinforces the manager's belief and they invest more time and energy into it. And when that catalyst, as he mentioned, happens, is when that relationship, I think, flourishes.
It's a Janta Janardhan, right? I mean, in the sense where whatever you finally say, the market is going to tell you also. Like brands will tell you, the audience will tell you, the platforms will tell you. So, as much as we all try to equally divide time, or at least we're just the faces of these places, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that are behind this. It's not like each of us is managing 100 people. It's 50 people managing 100 people. But, at the end of the day, that cream of the crop will get, populated. It changes every year. And then the ones, you kind of have to run that race, So, we are also being judged in the same way, and so are they, more so than us also. But the audience tells you, it's very clear. I don't think anyone here has any doubts about who the top creators are, but that won't be the same. It will change again. So.
Mihi, Devashi, you have anything else?
We act like a very simple toolbox. That means we are available for everyone, all our creators. It's up to them also how much they are active, how much they want to utilize us, ask us, do more than, and how we reciprocate equally to every one of them. It's not going to be, so as all of them said, it's going to be most of them have to come, and you can clearly see within your roster, some people are trying hard to reach out to us, trying to work out something. So automatically that balances out. But we are equally there as a toolbox for everybody that they want to utilize.
No, but on the flip, like if somebody is getting great views, is very like brands really want to work with them, and if they're still not reaching out to you, you're still going to
Reach out to them,
go behind
put more effort.
But then you're automatically working more with them because if the brands are coming to them. So means either or in any way you are in contact with them if they're doing well or they want to work harder. So if they're doing good brands and they're doing more and more, then automatically you'll be working with them.
And what happens sometimes when we talked about the peak of creators, they want to do a lot of things, they will talk about it, and then they won't follow up for that. because that is also very important. You can come and discuss a lot of things, but if you're not eventually following up or showing up to shoot that particular piece of content or particular piece that we want to shoot with you, we cannot do anything then. You have to show up, and that's where that's where it's become important, that the intent of the creator is very, very important to grow.
But that's also an instant gratification problem, right? In the sense where to make the best reel, you could possibly make it in like 1 hour. You could, but you can't even make an average show in 1 month. So that process, I mean, I think they are also so used. Some of them are so used to
Instant
getting that gratification. They thought about something, they felt it, they put it out, it got back. You can have 10 great days of writing, and like you not even get past one episode. So I think that's a thing where you can also talk to that, but we've also like started getting other writers to help, in that sense.
True.
And that's where the learning also comes in, the explanation comes in, that it's going to take time. And that's an eventual learning process for creators, that it will take time.
Okay. So now, can you guys spill the beans around how much a content creator can make money or makes money?
Rohit bhai.
Which one?
That's the only accurate one that we know, right?
You all can make a lot of money, but I just feel don't do it for the money, because
पैसा कुछ नहीं है.
No, because ऐसा नहीं है. I mean, I've heard a lot of people who want to become a content creator, but they don't have the means and resources to be able to, put themselves out there. They might not even have a simple basic phone or, an internet service. So, money ke liye mat karo, and just, you can make a lot of money, but you need to be true to your art, because you're all artists. So if you're true to your art and you're doing it regularly, without being demotivated, without thinking twice. I mean, you must think twice in today's world, but just keep putting yourself out there. Money will flow in, and there'll be a time when you'll get tired counting it or just looking at it. So paisa will become secondary eventually. The other kind of validation in this field is so tricky. Validation like PR, like you said, just numbers on Instagram. You probably would we have experienced this, you would put a lot of money behind a project, and that project might not do as well as how a reel did, which was zero effort, right? So just stay sane. Don't spend your money on supercars and super expensive sneakers, and be sane and think of a longer roadmap. I think that's what I say about.
But how much?
But how much?
I was trying to distract everybody.
Patiently waited.
नहीं, आप लोग बहुत पैसा कमा सकते हो, मतलब सही है, मतलब मम्मी पापा खुश हो जाएंगे, इतना कमा सकते.
Anyone else would want to weigh in?
Like which creator?
Which creator is a question. I mean, but for the people who are getting into this space, I'll always say that have a plan B, because this might fail, and there's a very big chance of this failing.
And also, we have to be very cognizant of the fact that 95% of the creators won't make money. Only the 5% creators will make money. So you are getting into content creation, it looks very fancy, it looks very like you might become the best thing on the internet, but it might not happen. Then there's a 95% chance it won't happen. So you have to be very sure about what you do.
I'm not getting an answer.
I liked what he said earlier too, that sometimes you think it's a lot of money, but it's also for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So
Longevity is questionable.
So this is actually what happens. So a lot of people who have worked jobs and then become a creator really find you'd assume that they would have better understanding of this, but they find it harder than people who have never worked in a job, because
100%.
it's safe to say if you're 25 years old, you're in a job, and you're 40 years old, that same person in a job is probably making more per month. You might make something this month, and it might be the most you ever make in your entire life as a creator, right?
Yeah.
So when you have it, think of alternate sources of income, think of like ways to safeguard yourself on.
In the last 2-3 years itself, I'm sure within our roster only there are creators who came, made money, and they're gone. So just connecting to the.
If I were to weigh in on this, right? See, a creator can. What is the kind of money you can make as a creator? You can make barely 5 lakh rupees per annum to, I don't know, crores per annum. But that's about how focused you are towards your goal. Most of the big creators have created themselves a media channel, right? And agar media channel ki baat karo, then there is, look at any media channel and how they earn from ad revenue. That's the money you can make. And now how big is the ad revenue business? Look at that business being crores, multi-million dollars. Any creator can be that. Focus on the skill, focus on your art, focus on what you can bring to the table and how you can grow your channel. Your channel will grow, your money will grow. And yes, you can earn crores, but you can also earn only 50,000 rupees a month maybe.
Okay, and so we are knocking 2024, and a lot of things happened this year for creators and creator universe, and it makes all the more sense to take all those learnings and understand, go ahead with that. So I want to understand that what you have learned this year, that you basis that you're foreseeing a future for like a 2024 or a year ahead, more than that, for creator economy in that sense.
As the entire economy, I don't know, but I think I'll talk about just creators. But I think everyone's now in this journey of how can I stop being an influencer and be a creator.
Yeah.
And what that means. And right now, I think the current definition is something in traditional media that's away from what I do on Instagram, right? Like in some way, shape or form. Either I'm, leading an event, I'm in some project, in some acting project, I've made my own course or, some hoarding or some brand. I think that's the fight that everyone's having. I think like terminology doesn't matter. If you primarily focus on your distribution at some point in time, all of these things will happen for you. So, but that's my thought right now.
Yeah, I think it's entrepreneurship. For us being in the finance infotainment segment, our segue is also very clear that we have to either build infotainment products or do a tech thing. Like this year we have done 2 entrepreneurship projects with Influence Club and the 1% Club. And I think this year we got that one tick box, okay, this is possible. Like you need 3 things for a business, right? Like you need a product, you need a distribution, and you need trust. Creators have distribution and trust already, they don't have a product. And now we are actively trying to build products with our creators and then launch it. I think next year this is gonna, it's still coming in, only that I think the top layer is doing it. Next year you will see a lot of medium-sized creators, as Gautam I was telling ki, 50,000 followers, 500,000 followers, they launching their own product and making some amount of money. They might not make it very big, but they will still sustain and do that. So I think that is the next step in 2024.
My point will still be the discoverability part, because I think that has started big time, because I've met this year so many good creators earning literally what they can potentially, if they can earn 100, they're probably earning 1, because they're not being discovered, or they're not being discovered by a lot of agencies or brands. They're not being seen to the right people, and that is a very sad part of the market, which I think is a very crucial learning for me in 2023.
So what we're trying to do, we manage a lot of, say, I talk about one particular category, we manage a lot of beauty creators in particular, and they have a shorter lifespan in terms of the total years in business they can be in. So this year we are planning to, actually we are already building multiple salons, under which one particular salon is partly owned by 6 different beauty partners, and we own like a 30-40% of that particular salon. So this way, when they're earning a lot of money, we're helping them invest that particular money into a physical project which is going to make money for a very long period of time. We plan to build around 20 salons in the next year probably. So that's the
Future you see.
Yeah, that's the future we see.
Yeah. No, we are just looking at different avenues. Yeah, same thing. All these different products that you are talking about, but still identifying right avenues for our creators is something that we are looking at for this year, because all of them have different things that they are working on. Someone is entertainment, because I think it's much more easier when to make a product in entertainment. I'm not saying it's very easy, but it's a learning. But for entertainment guys who are just entertaining or who are this, it's very little difficult to understand what kind of things that they can do, what avenue. So what else can do? For example, we are also thinking about drama, plays. To start off acting, it doesn't need to only start off with this thing. Everybody wants to hit off the Bollywood list. I think the ceiling needs to now go higher. I mean, there has to be something else. So we are trying to find out those avenues मेनली क्या और क्या कर सकते हैं और क्या करना चाहिए मेनली. So that is what our focus is on, and I think that is what everyone is trying to figure out, that what is next. Again, I think that question is every day, every morning.
Yeah, for a lot of OML creators, there are multiple things, right? One part of it is what they do in front of the camera, and be that camera, be it a camera in a film or in front of a real camera. But what do they do outside of it, right? So be it writing projects, be it products, be it agencies, like some of our creators have started their own agencies, be it so yeah, there are much more of these kind of equities. These are the kind of things that is something that OML is definitely trying to find different avenues for creators to build income should tomorrow their real face does not work.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being part
Thank you,
of
Nidhi.
Thank you so
Social
much.
Ketchup Roundtable. I think this is my safe zone also to have all kind of conversations related to the creator economy or anything else. So
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
It was a
Thank
good
you for having
catch-up.
us.
good catch up, no?